Welcome to your comprehensive interactive study breakdown on the key ideas of GCSE Biology. These 6 core concepts: cells as the fundamental units of life, structure determining function, the importance of organelles, enzymes and their active sites, ATP as energy currency, alleles and adaptation, and synoptic thinking, are the secret to tackling the most challenging exam questions. Understanding these principles will transform you from a fact memorizer into a true biologist. Let's map out how these key ideas interconnect. Every biological process starts with cells. Within cells, organelles like mitochondria and chloroplasts provide specialized environments. The shape of molecules, like enzymes with their active sites, determines their function. Energy is stored and transferred via ATP. Genetic variation comes from alleles, and adaptations allow organisms to survive. Synoptic questions test your ability to link these concepts across different topics. Turning to our core study notes, these 5 terms are essential. An organelle is any specialized structure inside a cell. The active site of an enzyme has a unique shape that fits its substrate. ATP is the molecule that carries energy for cellular processes. Alleles are different versions of the same gene, and adaptations are traits that help organisms thrive in their environment. Mastering these definitions is the first step to synoptic thinking. Let's trace the hierarchy from molecules to whole organisms. At the molecular level, the 3-dimensional shape of an enzyme's active site determines which substrate it can bind. If the shape changes due to heat or pH, the enzyme denatures and stops working. This principle scales up. Cells contain organelles that separate incompatible reactions, tissues are groups of specialized cells, and whole organisms exhibit adaptations that are the result of genetic variation and natural selection. Let's work through a 6-mark synoptic question. The examiner wants you to connect 2 topics, gas exchange and respiration. Start by describing how alveoli are adapted: thin walls, large surface area, dense capillaries. Then explain that oxygen diffuses into the blood and reaches muscle cells. There, oxygen enables aerobic respiration in mitochondria, producing ATP. Finally, state that ATP is used for muscle contraction. This links structure, alveoli, to function, ATP production. Watch out for these common mistakes. Many students define terms in isolation without linking them. For example, when asked about adaptation, don't just say a feature that helps survival, connect it to alleles and natural selection. Also, be precise, use allele instead of trait and ATP instead of energy. Remember that enzyme denaturation is irreversible, unlike competitive inhibition. These small details make the difference between a grade 7 and a grade 9. To wrap up, remember that every biological process starts at the cellular level. The shape of molecules like enzymes determines their function. Energy is stored and transferred as ATP. Genetic variation comes from alleles, and adaptations are the result of evolution. The key to top marks is synoptic thinking. Always look for connections between topics. Use these core ideas as your toolkit, and you'll approach any exam question with confidence.